morning. Welcome in, everyone. We are reading from Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. Our morning devotional today is March 24th, and it reads like this. This is a time in your life when you must learn to let go of loved ones, of possessions, of control. In order to let go of something that is precious to you, you need to rest in my presence, where you are complete. Take time to bask in the light of my love. As you relax more and more, your grasping hand gradually opens up, releasing your prized possession into my care. You can feel secure even in the midst of catalytic changes. I think I said that right. Through awareness of my criminal continual presence. The one who never leaves you is the same one who never changes. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. As you release more and more things into my care, remember that I never let go of your hand. Herein lies your security, which no one and no circumstance can take from me. Psalm 89:15. Blessed are those who have learned to acclaim you, who walk in the light of your presence, O Lord. Hebrews 13:8. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Isaiah 41:13. For I am the Lord, your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Amen. This devotion this morning is so good. Let me go back to where I wanted to talk about. Where it says you feel secure even in the midst of cataclysmic changes. I think I said it right this time. Through awareness of my continual presence. So many, that word, if you don't know what that means, it's a sudden, violent, and devastating occurrence. It could be anything happening in your life with devastation. And there have been so many things that have happened in my life that were devastating to me. Maybe they wouldn't be devastating to someone else, but to me they were. And I've learned in the last nearly 6 years now that I've been walking with the Lord, that those things that happened in my life, like losing my parents, being diagnosed with cancer, just personal things, losing friends, loved ones. I know now that those things are the things that I can't dwell on, only because the Lord loves me so much. And when those, good morning, Sister Gloria, when those things happen, some people feel that they lose hope and they end up in a place of hopelessness. But God always shows me that there is so much hope and so much to look forward to. And it doesn't matter what my day ended like yesterday. I knew that today was going to be an even better day. My days just started. And what's so funny is for the last 3 nights, I have been hearing an owl outside. And last night I was looking in the tree, but the light was on, so I couldn't see where the owl could possibly be. And every morning, the last 3 mornings, it's been waking me up. He's just been hooting, whenever he wants to. And I was like, what does that mean? And it was just bringing me so much peace just to hear that, because you don't hear an owl all the time. Exactly, Araceli. And, I was like, that is so, I don't know, just the sound of it was so beautiful to me. Things like that are silly like that. You probably think it's silly, but I love God's beauty, and it's amazing to me. But anyway, I'm going to start with Sister Araceli. Good morning, sister. How are you?
Good morning, sister. I'm like, I wish I could hear an owl.
So goofy that way.
It'd be saying who? I'd be like, me. Who? Me.
Exactly.
That's who.
That's so sweet.
No. This morning's devotional, like I said, it's a good one. As I started to read it, this is a time of your life. You know, and I think this is probably may have been when I made one of my turns, you know, back in March, 2 years ago. But but yeah, letting go of loved ones, possessions, control. That one, control's a big one. You
Yes.
know, it is. I still try to control stuff, and I have to stop myself. Like, stop it. It's not yours. It's not your control. Like, it's not. Leave it there. It's not yours. You know, and it's that learning process. You know, but the loved ones. You know, you touched on, you know, about your parents and stuff. You know, um, that to let go. I mean, to let go of what I don't have anymore. You
Mhm.
know, and not that I ever had it because it never was mine to begin with. You know, but yeah, letting it go and allowing the Lord to come in and give you that peace, that rest that is needed. You know, it does make a big difference. Because when I did finally come to those terms, you know, I have to let go and I have to let God. And I mean, those of us that have lost a loved one, you know, whether a parent, grandparent, or, you know, a sibling or a child, you know, any type of loss, it is hard to let them go when, especially when you are really close to them, you know, or you love them that hard, or they are that the close relationship you have with them, you know, and to let them go to the Lord, to allow the Lord to heal your heart, you know, as simple as it sounds, it's hard,
It is.
you know, and it's that letting God give you that peace. And I mean, I'm not saying I don't think of my son, not saying that I'm not sad, and there's not days that you know, I just cry, because the Lord says I can do that. The Lord says, you know, that helps, and it does. But what helps more is letting it go and understanding that he has it, you know, and not holding on to it day after day after day, you know, because when I did hold on to my son day after day after day, I was just in darkness. I was walking blindfolded. I didn't know which way to turn. And I kept bumping into walls, you know, and those hurt the most.
Yes.
Bumping into those walls hurt the most than just letting it go and let God give you the peace. So for me this morning, as I continue to release more and more to him, you know, into his care, as I continue to walk with him, I consistently feel his hand holding my hand. You know, I feel him just carrying me on and on, because some days I wake up and it's like, how are you still waking up? You know, some days I do wake up with that feeling. You know, some days I do wake up. It's not fair that I get to wake up. But I have to remind myself, you know, it's in God's timing. It's his plan, not mine. And his plan is for him to shine through me and everything he has done for me in the process of living in this unworthy world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this morning, and it's just a reassurance that he is the same as he was yesterday, as he is today, and as he will forever, ever be. He has never changed. If anything, I'm the one that has changed.
Amen.
But now I'm changed for the good, and this is just a reminder of where I'm at in my life today.
Amen, sister.
Thank you, sister, for letting me share.
You're welcome. I love to hear the joy in your voice. You know, I've only known you what this last year and a half, and more so this past year, and I hear the difference in your voice from the first time that I entered this group, and it's so wonderful to hear that joy in your voice. I love that
Thank
for
you,
you.
sister. Thank
I
you.
love
Love
it.
you.
I love you too, sweetie. Thank you. Good morning, Leanna. How are you?
I'm good. I'm getting ready for a field trip with my kids. But this one, if this one couldn't be more about what I'm going through right now, it's crazy. I've always been in control. So I felt I've always been in control, because I really never had guidance or discipline, or since I was like 15. So I got to do whatever I wanted, but at the same time, I always knew that God was watching me. So I felt like I needed to control everything, and all the way up until this point, it's like the Lord has allowed things to happen, and I see it, but I choose to ignore it because I don't want to have to let go. I don't want to have to let go of my 18-year-old son. I don't want to have to let go of my 21-year-old daughter. But slowly, God is teaching me how to let go, and it hurts. Oh my God, it hurts. There's a lot of things in my life that I need to let go of because it's killing me. It's hurting me. And I know that before I just used to not understand, like, Lord, if I'm being obedient to you, how is all this happening? But I wasn't being obedient because I controlled everything, I was like, nope, I'm going to just keep doing what I want to do. And every time I did it, it just got, worse and worse. So as I let go of, things that I never thought I could, the Lord is blessing me, and the Lord is waking me up with joy and peace in my heart, because before it was just anger and sadness and pain. And even yesterday I woke up, like, I just woke up with just like a sadness over me. And in my head I heard, like, you can choose to lay here, or you can get up and you can do what you have to do. And I didn't allow my sadness to control me. I got up, I did what I had to do. And it's a learning process. It really is. And it's painful, but when you have God to lean on, it's doable, and you can get through it. You can let go, So that's where I'm at in my life right now, is learning how to let go, even in catastrophic, things that might happen. And for me, losing my sister, my grandmother was my first one, because she was my rock. She was always there for me. And Grandma, something's going on, and she would say, okay, let's pray. And we would pray, and I from that point on, slowly, I've been learning how to let go of things that don't fit my life anymore. So, even though I don't like it, I still have to do it, but that's where I'm at. Thank you so much for letting me share.
You're welcome, sister. Thank you for sharing. Cass, did you want to come up, or was that a mistake? Good morning.
Oh, sorry.
Did you want to come up, or that was a mistake?
Oh, sorry. No,
Okay, you're fine.
I do that. I keep pressing buttons on my phone. Sorry.
You're good. Thank you. You know what, Sister Lana, you're so true, because, and Sister Araceli, losing those loved ones, I used to, oh my God, once, when my father passed, I was just going through so much. My life was so much more busier. I was still married. And my kids were still so young. But when my mother passed, it really hit hard, and I used to cry like every single day. And then finally one day I was just like, you know what? I have to stop this, because I know that my mom would want me to continue living my life and be happy with my children and doing the things that I always dreamed of doing. And I could still take her along with me, even though she's physically not here. And I know, I don't know Araceli's son. I never met him, but I'm sure he was a beautiful person, because she is such a beautiful, amazing person. And I'm sure that your son would want you to live the best life ever, because he can still live that life with you. You can still make those memories and share it with him, but in a completely different way. His spirit is always with you. And also the same with you, Leanna. I love that the Lord has put that in my mind, in my heart, that I know that there is nothing I can do in this life that my parents will not be a part of, because I know that they are with me every day, and I know your loved ones are with you every day. Sister Laura, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. You know, this was a really good one this morning because, for me, I didn't. I've lost loved ones. I've lost, almost all my siblings, both my parents, my grandparents, all really young, and so that was hard to get over. But after last night, I realized that I lost control. I lost control of walls. I've had so many walls built up to guard my emotions from all of the things that I've had to go through, with cancer, with, you know, losing people so young, and I've always wanted to control the emotions that I felt. And last night, a wall knocked down that I didn't even know that I had. And the way I woke up this morning feeling so peaceful and, so comforted and hugged and loved by God. I feel like he told me last night it's time to let the wall down. And I didn't even know it was up. It wasn't until I realized that, I've been so good at showing everybody the fun, loving, bubbly side, because that's who I am. That in all truth, I am a very happy person. But to be so transparent and let something, I let his words totally seep into me yesterday. And that lesson, I read it so many times just because I needed to hear it again and again and again. And every time I heard it, it was another barrier, another layer, like an onion that was peeling off. And I feel so good this morning. I feel tired, but in a good way. It's a relief tired. I feel like I let a lot of things go. And I am one, like a lot of people, who likes to give things to God and then pick it back up. Give things to God and pick it back up. But my emotions, I really thought that was my job to control. It's my job to hold on to those and be strong for everybody else. But I let that go. I was like, you know what? This is not for me to control. If I'm holding on to this, it's not doing me any good. I don't want to take this with me. And I know it's not coming with me when I go. I'm going in with to be made new. I think it was Sister Robbie last night. This is, it was Sister Robbie or Pastor Tony, I can't remember which one, but are we preparing ourselves now for what we're going into when it's over? We can't take any of this stuff with us, and why would we want to? you know Something better is on the other side, and I let go of the control of my guard, is, I guess, is how I would put it. I let my guard go, because it's not my guard, it's his. He's the one that's surrounding me, he's protecting me. And in order to become that new, better person on the other side, we got to work on that over here. So that's what I let go of. And I'm definitely walking in his presence this morning. Not that I wasn't before, but it's definitely there now. You could feel the glow. You could feel just like I said, you could feel the relief. So that's where I'm at this morning. Thank you for letting me share, sister.
Sister, that's beautiful. And that's the one thing that excites me, is when my last day here on earth is over, I have something so much more exciting. Like, I'm excited about that waiting for me. Good morning, Sister Robbie. Do you want to let Sister Gloria go first, and you want to go last? However you want to do it this morning, sister. Okay. Sister Gloria, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Well, I'm not doing too good. I read this morning. Yes, thank God that I'm awake. I'm here. But I'm reading this morning, and I didn't go towards the route of letting go of someone or something, because last night I let go of the trust that I had for God. My brother and my sister-in-law are out of town, so they lend us their car. I don't know, sometimes I think maybe this is nothing, but for me it was huge. So they lend us their vehicle because they know I don't have one. My brother says, I trust you, not a problem, use it as you can. And my son asked me, Mom, can I borrow the vehicle? I'm gonna go talk to his ex-girlfriend or whatever. And I said, right away, it was a no, but I didn't say it. I said, sure, but you need, and he's gonna be 23. And I said, okay, but you got to be home by 11. He said, not a problem. He took the vehicle and 11 came along and I fell asleep because I spent the evening and I missed last night's study in and out because my grandkids had a practice and basketball. So, but it was 11 and he didn't show up. 11:30 he didn't. So instead of me trusting God, I called my son literally like 50 times. I sent texts over and over. My daughter knows his location and he was at the girlfriend's house. Instead of just saying, like, I know I trust him, and even though it's just, people might say it's a vehicle, really, but it was more than that. I let go of how much I know God has control of everything. So I couldn't sleep. So at 12:30 came along, and of course, I called my oldest daughter and I said, you need to take me to go get the car. And she's like, Mom, what are you doing? She says, and she said, I bet you've left him like 100 texts. I bet you've called him. And did you call the girlfriend? And I said, well, yeah, nobody's answering. And she was like, Mom, and now you can't sleep, so you're calling me. And I said, you know what, just forget it. And I hung up on her. So then she calls me back and she says, Mom, I know you're not going to sleep. She says, but start praying. He's fine. I see his location. The car's there. Like, where? And she tells me, where is your trust? And you know what I said? I said, you know what? Just forget it. I didn't even let her finish. I hung up again and I was just going to call an Uber to take me all the way over there. But my thoughts, I totally let go of God, like, because I was so worried about the vehicle. And that's the crazy thing. I wasn't even worried about him. Like I knew he was fine there, but I started thinking about my brother and my sister-in-law who trusted me with their car. So my daughter and two grandsons, the oldest and the baby, are taking grandma. It was 1 a.m. now over there, and my son was already leaving. I just got the keys and he sat on the passenger and I told him, he said, I can't believe that you came for me. And I said, I I have no trust in what you're doing. I trusted you to be back at a certain time. But let me tell you, like I'm reading this we still got here at home. I didn't even sleep well and he went into work at 6 a.m. I feel exhausted. I feel so tired, like, but I'm reading this and I'm like, I let go of the most precious person in my life, and that was God last night. And it feels so horrible because he just showed me today, like, don't let go of my hand. my daughter calls me this morning and she goes, I know you didn't sleep well. She said, but you don't have to help me with the kiddos, Mom. She said, and it just hit me this morning reading this. It's like, wow, like, yes, I've lost my parents and I've lost loved ones and I've lost a marriage. But last night, I just thank God for this morning's devotional and His word. And so that's what I have. Just that, just keep me in your prayers. And those that in an instant, I totally just forgot how amazing God is and how my son was fine. But it was just, and literally my mind just went totally, you know, not even what God had for me, not my trust for God and my trust that He had everything in control. I let that go because, and I didn't listen to the voice that said, say no, like don't lend him the car because, but for me this morning, that's just what I received. God is letting me know here, like in all, and trust the voice, trust me when you hear me. And I didn't, I just, and it's just ugly feeling because this morning I feel so tired. Like my eyes are barely open. Like I haven't felt this ugly in years. This is how I felt when I was out in the world doing my own thing. There was no peace, and there was no peace for me last night, but it was me. It was me again. It goes back to, it was a choice that I made, and the choice to not, I let Gloria try to do it all, and it didn't work out. So thank you, sisters. That's what I got out of it today. I'm reading it and going, wow, like I'm not even thinking about everything that I've lost, material stuff or family, or I just thought of how I let go of him last night in that moment. So thank you, sister, for letting me share.
Sister, that's I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, and I do that with my daughter. My daughter's like, Mom, can we borrow your car? And it's not that I'm being selfish or stingy. I have to stop and I tell myself, like, this is the only vehicle you have. What if something happens, and, the car breaks down or, whatever, like those things run through my mind. And I have to tell her, no, it's not that I don't trust her. It's just that is the only thing I have left of my own. Like I said, I'm not being stingy, but if she needs to go somewhere, I will gladly take her. But that's a a tough place to be in, because the vehicle was not yours. It's your brother's, and he was doing, a kind thing to lend it to you. And you were stuck in a hard place, to say yes, but you wanted to say no, because you were left responsible for that vehicle. And all your son had to do was call you and say, Mom, I'm going to stay a little later. And I'm sure that would have been okay with you, but that didn't happen. Maybe he fell asleep, who knows, but thank God he's safe. And sister, you're going to be okay. It's okay. Sometimes we let our emotions, exactly, Sister Robbie, God gives us that grace, where and God knew the position you were in, and it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes we need to learn to say no, even if our kids get mad at us. We need to learn to say no when we know what the right thing to do is. I'm sorry you had to go through that last night, sister. Good morning, Yesenia. How are you? Did you want to go next, Sister Yesenia?
Yes, can you reread it, please?
Of course. It reads like this. This is a time in your life, oops, when you must learn to let go of loved ones, of possessions, of control. In order to let go of something that is precious to you, you need to rest in my presence, where you are complete. Take time to bask in the light of my love. As you relax more and more, your grasping hand gradually opens up, releasing your prized possession into my care. You can feel secure even in the midst of cataclysmic changes through awareness of my continual presence. The one who never leaves you is the same one who never changes. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. As you release more and more things into my care, remember that I never let go of your hand. Herein lies your security, which no one and no circumstance can take from you. Do you want me to read the verses also?
No, I already know which one I'm going to do.
Okay.
It's the same one as yesterday. He knows me by name. Man, you guys, let me tell you, okay? My sister Goy, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you because I know what that feels like. And man, I've come to realize, like, all it takes is a thought. It really does. It just takes one thought, and if the enemy can grab you on that thought, he just drags you in as fast as he can. And don't be so hard on yourself, sis. It's okay. God knew. God knows our name. He knew. He already knew. He made sure that everyone was safe. He dispatched angels, armies around your family. Sorry, my granddaughter's in the bathroom over here. Oh, sorry. He dispatched heaven's armies to make sure everything was going to be okay for you as this was moving. He took care of you. He took care of your family. I didn't hear all the story. Sorry, I woke up late. My granddaughters had my phone and my alarm did not go off. But look how God set it up for you. Look how well he set it up. And I just heard the ending, so I don't know everything, so I'm not going to talk too much on it. But I just see that, man, I know what that's like. I'm starting to realize as the days are moving forward, man, like the enemy knows his time is coming. He is trying to move as fast as he can on us. And literally, it just really does take a thought. I'm on the phone right now. You need to wait. Close the door. Close the door. Sorry, they always want my phone. And so for me, he knows my name. Right now, that's what I'm holding on to, is my identity. You guys already know everything I've been through, and this 3 weeks, going on 4 weeks, has been like very like joyful. And I don't want to let go of the joy. I don't. I am praying and asking the Lord and everything, Lord, what do I do next? And really trying to understand any little voice I hear. Okay, Lord, that one doesn't belong to me. Take it. Okay, Lord, am I supposed to do something with that thought? Or do you need me to let that one go too? But man, I'm going to tell you something. It takes a lot of patience in your spirit. It really does. Because like even yesterday, my daughter called me, and my kids are used to me jumping, and they're allowed to do whatever, treat me however, and I'm just supposed to just jump when they call. I'm not allowed to treat them the way they treat me, because when I do, I'm the worst mother in the world. And yesterday, one of my kids wanted me to jump, and I was like, no. I never tell my kids no. I never tell them no. I mean, I will break my back trying to make it happen for them sometimes. But I'm tired. I'm tired of trying. I feel like, no, I'm not doing it no more. And so yesterday I was like, I'm at work, and if you need that, you need to come get it. I work on property, you guys. come. And I told them, I was like, no, I'm not doing that for you no more. I haven't met my granddaughters, my new granddaughters, and I don't know how the other two are doing. So I have a total of 4 granddaughters with her. And I'm not allowed to do nothing. I'm not allowed nothing because they're mad at me right now. And it's not like a mad where we just get over it right away. I mean, my kids can hold on to some grudges, and they'll make me go years without seeing them. And I told her, no, I'm not doing it no more. You honor me, you respect me, or you figure it out. But I'm not jumping no more. And my daughter is already 24, 25, they're allowed to live their lives. I have to respect. I mean, this is the way the Lord showed me. I have to respect their decisions. I can't force anything upon them. I can only respect their decisions. And so in order for me to keep my peace, I have to respect their decision, but respect myself. And before I was like, oh, well, here's my chance, and I would try to have a chance. But man, no, man, I don't care no more about that chance. And not because I don't love my grandkids, and not because I don't love my children. I love all of them. I'm telling you guys, I have done a lot for my kids. But I love me. My God knows my name.
Amen.
He knows my name. And he told me, when will you choose yourself to love yourself so much that the overflow of love will be freely given? It's not going to drain me to love somebody. Now, have you guys ever felt like that? Like something is just constantly draining you because you're constantly giving what you have?
Yes.
And so I was like, you're right, God. I'm not doing that no more. So these last 3 weeks has been me learning to love me, to love myself, for the overflow of love that God freely gives to me, that it fills me up, and then I can easily overflow of love with my children. And I got to take this giant down already. I can see myself with my hand in my bag, and I'm gonna take him down. He knows it, and the only reason he knows it is because I'm walking with God. Every decision, every choice, everything I have going on right now, he knows God is with me and for me. And so if my promise is attached to some giants, then I'm going to go ahead and start taking them down now. I'm not going to run from them. I'm not going to move from them. I'm just going to take them down. And right now my hand is on which rock shall I throw? Which rock needs to go on my slingshot? Because I'm not going to lower my standards for nobody no more.
Amen.
I'm way too important to myself now, and I'm treating myself the way God treats me. I'm way too important for God. He has shown that to me over and over and over, and I refuse to settle for less now. But I do understand one thing. All it really does take is a thought. And the enemy will drag us in as fast as he can when we're strong. And Sister Gloria, you are so strong. You are a great example of what it looks like to trust. I love to listen to you when you start talking about trusting. I do. And so today we have a new page, right? A new drawing, a new masterpiece that has to be created on this canvas that is so just sitting in front of us with nothing in front of it. And I say, that we paint the most beautiful picture today, because this is another lesson that we have learned. All it takes is a thought. And we are human, you know, we constantly fight our flesh, the carnal, but the mommy in us, oh man, the mommy in us gets us sometimes, right?
Yes.
It really can, and the enemy knows. He knows, our children, how important it is sometimes for us to be able to stand up and say, no, today I take a stand for myself. So I'm going to be praying for everybody. I have all the, um, I have a lot to do today on all my scriptures that I'm just going to study, and I'm going to study the scriptures today and get caught up so I could be ready for tonight. But man, you guys, it is just beautiful, right? To be able to know that it doesn't take us. There's no real complete direction, I guess I want to say. Like, there's really nothing that says you have to do it this way. All we have is just taking one step in front of the other and learning. And thank God we all know how to stay teachable. And that is what's really helping us, is to stay humble and stay teachable. I love you guys.
Thank you, sister. Thank you for sharing. And I love that you said that there's no rule book. You know, we didn't get a rule book when we became parents. I wasn't given a rule book on how to do this walk with the Lord. You know, so I'm doing the best I can. And Sister Gloria, you are doing an amazing job. You're an amazing mother. You're an amazing woman. And I love you, sister. Good morning, Kelly. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Um, what I was gonna say is, I had when I lost my dad, my world was crushed. I was devastated, and I stayed like that for like 2, 3 years until I began to have faith in God. And now that you know, the grief was still hitting me like really hard, but lately, I mean, it has not, and I have been able to smile that, and I'll never let his memories go, but I do keep him alive, and um, but I do let it go to God, my dad always said everything will be all right, and it is, and I know he wants to see me smiling down here and not hurting, I mean, I'll never forget him, and it's always gonna hurt, but I don't stay in that hurt. And it's easier to move on, uh knowing that everything, I will see him one day, and have that faith that we will see our loved ones. And it's just been amazing just to let go and give it to God.
Amen. Amen,
That's
sister.
all I
I
have
love
to share.
you. I love that for you because I know that your dad doesn't want you sitting around crying. You know, I remember because I've always been such a crybaby. And my dad used to tell me, he used to call me Wet. He's like, Wet, I don't want you crying when I die. I just want you to be happy. And, and I know that that's what your dad wants for you,
Hmm.
for all of us. It's exciting to know
That's
that.
all I have to share.
Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. I love that. And I hear the joy in your voice, and it sounds wonderful, sister. I love it. I love that for you. Thank you. Good morning, Sister Robbie. Good
Good God morning.
God morning.
I um I want to say this first.
Yes, ma'am.
We are still human. We make mistakes. We do all kinds of things that we regret later. But you know what? Remember when we were out in the world, nothing convicted us, right? Conviction came when God came, right? So that we can correct as we go, right? So, the fact that we even catch the things that we do these days is growth, right? It's growth. And that's something that we don't give ourselves enough grace for, because growth, it happens every day in different kind of ways, but it's still happening little by little. Remember last week, that little by little statement that we had going on? Little by little. So we don't have to, when we have our Peter moments, we don't have to stay there, because that was the difference between him and Judas. Judas stayed where he was at. Peter, conviction came. He asked for forgiveness. God forgave him. Judas could have did the same thing, but what did he choose? And that's the question there. What did he choose? What do we choose when we make mistakes? Because we're still human. We're going to. Until the Lord comes and make us perfect, we're going to make mistakes, right? But we have a way to cry out and get right back to where we were at. And that's a blessing in itself, because everybody don't know that. We have access to get right back to where we were. And think about Peter. After that, he was a powerful man, right? After he denied the Lord those 3 times and conviction happened, he was different. His boldness came back, and he was really, really bold. And nobody could tell him anything, because he knew how much grace that God gave him. And he knew how much forgiveness God gave him. So he was able to do that, right? He was able to whom much is given, much is required. If you was given a lot of grace, you can give grace if you choose to, right? But it's all about the choices we make. So don't beat yourself up, and don't stay in that down state, because you're a powerful person. God gave you the power to get back up and keep it moving. And Sister Gloria, your joy, that's what keeps a lot of us going in the mornings, So we need you to get your joy back, sis. You good. God's got you. Like he said, he never lets go of our hand. He holds on to us even when we try to let go of his, right? But conviction has to happen to keep us humble, and for you to develop more and more grace for yourself, because nobody's harder on us than we are on ourselves. So I'm just saying. Sorry, there's my just saying there.
You're going to get a t-shirt that says just saying.
But this devotional this morning, my question was, what are you holding on to for dear life? What are you holding on to for dear life? Or who? And it says, this is the time. This is a time in your life when you must learn. That means you're gonna fall. You're gonna make mistakes. But as you go, you're learning, right? You must learn. First of all, we have to unlearn the things we learn, and then relearn the things that are the better way of learning, God's way. That's not always easy, because we've lived on survival mode all of our lives. And those were the things that kept us where we were. So we have to unlearn those things, because they weren't always great things. Yes, we learned really good lessons, and we were taught really good things, but also we were taught bad things too. And so the good things you hold on to, the bad things you let go of, right? But how many times, because it's been our lifeline, that we hang on and hang on and hang on. And when the Lord say, give it to me, you're like, I can't. This is all I know. I can't. But as long as you're teachable, as long as you fall and can get back up, the Lord is showing you what you need to see. Places we need to grow, places where we're weak in. You know, He's using the things to build us, to build our endurance, to build our strength, to build, our faith, right? Our trust. So, what are you hanging on to that you don't want to let go of? Because that's a choice too. Do you want to hang on to it or do you want to let it go? It's up to you. Because God ain't going to make you do anything. He just won't. He's a perfect gentleman. He's not going to make you do anything that you do not want to do. So let go and let God. you know, if you let go of the loved ones and the possessions and the control, which we hang on to it because, we just, if you've ever been abandoned or neglected or anything like that, you hang on to the dearest things. You hang on to people longer than you should. You hold on to control as much as you can because it seems like everything that you have walked away, And so you hang on tightly. But the Lord said, let it go. Put it in my hands. It's in the best hands possible, right? I know that because I have been that person with the abandonment issue and the neglected issue. So I've learned a lot, and sometimes that rears its ugly head again because the enemy, he's going to always present the things where he got you before. He's going to always bring that back around, hoping that he can get you again. And even if he does, it doesn't matter because you don't have to stay there. Those thoughts, they get wild sometimes. Mine do. And I'm like, oh, Lord, please don't let me go back there. I can't do that again. No. I choose the better way now. And when I do fall, I just get back up. Lord, forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm going to work on not doing that again, And sometimes we get angry, and it's a righteous anger. We have a right to be angry or whatever, but do we stay that way? No, we don't. We get back into where we're supposed to be, back on the right path. GPS, it only talks to you when you're not doing the right thing. Conviction only happens when you make a mistake. But all the other times, you've been doing good. God ain't going to hold that against you. He holds nothing against you. We hold it against ourselves, though. It's like, oh man, I'm not worthy. That's what I tell myself sometimes when I fall. Lord, I'm sorry, I'm not worthy. But he was like, I knew you were going to do that. I already knew that was going to happen. But you know what? It's okay. Because what did you learn from that? More endurance. There you go. More strength. Okay, I didn't take that thought very captive. But thank you, Lord, for convicting me because before I had a hardened heart. I didn't care. I didn't care who I hurt. I didn't care what I said, if it tore you down or if it built you up. It didn't matter to me. I just said what I wanted to say, and that's what it was. But now I think about the things I say. And when I make a mistake, I am not too big to say I'm sorry. You know, I used to, before, my pride wouldn't let me say I'm sorry because I didn't think I was wrong, you know. But now, if I'm wrong, Lord, I'm sorry. And if I have a chance to, I'll go back to that person and tell them I'm sorry too. It takes the bigger person to do the right thing. For real, for real. It takes the bigger person to do the right thing. So when you let it go and give it to the Lord, then you can have your peace back. You can have your joy back. You can have your love back. You can have all those things that you laid down for a moment. But that doesn't cost us our life. Because God said, when I gave it to you, it's yours. And nothing or no one, right? We're going to get to that part here in a minute. Nothing and no one can take away what I gave you. So bam, yes, I made a mistake. But bam, look, I'm up again. Thank you, God. You know what I'm saying? We have that right because we're children. We can cry out to our Father at any given time, and He's there to listen. And He's there to hold our hand a little bit tighter if we need it. You know what I'm saying? He's such an amazing God. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. He says, in order to let go of something that is precious to you, you need to rest in my presence. Rest in my presence. And nobody gives you rest like the Lord gives you rest. You can lay down in green pastures with Him instead of on rocks and in graveyards and stuff like that. You can lay down in green pastures where peace and joy and everything is while you're resting. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is around you. He can make it happen, right? He can make it happen. But only when you get in His presence does He make that happen for you. He can make you complete in His presence. He can burn off some things in His presence. He can renew some things in His presence. But if you never get in His presence, you never know what He can do. The gift that keeps on giving, that would be Him. And the things that He gives are good gifts. So He's going to keep giving you good gifts when you lay something down. You lay that down, I'll give you this. You lay that down, I'll give you this. But you got to lay it down, right? You got to lay it down and give it to Him and leave it there. Of course, you got to leave it there because I like to pick up stuff. He says, take time to bask. There you go. Saturate, drip, immerse yourself. Those words have come up a lot this week. Immerse yourself in the light of my love. His love is unconditional. Unconditional. That means nothing you can do will separate you from His love. With people, it ain't so. People always have conditions to their so-called love, but that's not true love if it's conditions. God's has no conditions. And not only did He say it, that I love you conditionally, He showed it. He proved it to us when He went to the cross and took on everything we had, was going to do, did already. He already took care of it because He loved us that much. So how much do you love Him? Do you love Him enough to lay it down at His feet and trust that He's got it? Or do you love him with conditions like men love him like with conditions? Lord, I need this right now. I need you to be my genie right now. And if you can't be my genie, then forget it. I'm going to go to the next person. Do you love him enough to lay it down? Do you love yourself enough to lay it down? Because you can't change other people, you can only change you. So do you love yourself to lay it down at his feet and leave it there and get all the other things that he's going to give you? He says, as you relax, more and more your grasping hand gradually opens up. Are you making room for him to give you more and more? In your heart, in your hands? Are you freeing up the things? Are you uprooting the things that are keeping you bound? Because if you're not, he can't put anything in there. He can't, if it's something already planted there, you can't plant something else on top of it and expect it to be right? Because where the weeds grow, they choke out everything else. So are you uprooting the weeds first so you can plant fresh plants there? Fresh fruit? Because if you're not, you're just working for nothing, right? He says, your grasping hand gradually opens up, releasing your prized possession into my care. Our kids get up and they go different places, go their own routes, they do their own things or whatever. But at the same time, they're your prized possession. You cherish them 1,000%, right? 100%. But when they go out, you have no control. And that's the thing that we hold on to the most, is the control of the fact that I can see you every day and I know for a fact that you're okay, right? But when they go away, you don't have that control anymore. So it puts you on uneasy. But when you have laid them in the Lord's hands, and he's their creator and their maker, and he loves them as much as he loves you, you can lay them down in his hands and know they're going to be all right. You can do that. But me, like my son is my Powerball. You mess with that one, it's on and popping in your world, in your world, not mine, because I'm going to handle it. But at the same time, don't you think the Lord said, he told us the same thing. These are my children, and I fight their battles for them. We're Powerballs, y'all. We're Powerballs. God don't play about us. I'm just saying. That got me excited thinking about that. But anyway, he said you can feel secure. That means you can feel safe. Even in the hardest, most tragic, most heartbreaking times, you're safe in my arms. You can come to me and cry and know it's okay. Like, you can come to me and tell me how you're feeling. I'm good with that. You don't have to go to people who are going to go back and gossip. Did you see how she was doing? You see how she was acting? Did you see how she fell apart? Come on, man. People are looking for reasons they're looking for cracks in your faith in the Lord so they can have an excuse not to come to him. They're looking for those things. And they're watching how you carry yourself when you're going through tragedies and everything like that. When my brother was tragically unalived a couple of years ago, that turned my world upside down. And yes, I cried in the midst of all that. And yes, I did this, but I was like Job, though he slay me, Yet will I trust him. Do you trust him? Or do you say it with your mouth but not with your heart? Because remember, he knows what your heart is saying, not what your mouth is saying, because your mouth can say anything. You can tell people anything, but how is your walk? How is your fruit reflecting that? I mean, that's a whole telltale sign right there. How are you reflecting? Yes, Lord, I have cried myself to sleep many, many times. And yes, my heart is still broken. But you know what? I trust that he is with you. I trust that you got him. And I know that you got me because you've showed me on more than one occasion. Stuff bigger than what I'm going through right now. You brought me through. So I trust that you got me. And I know I can trust anything you say. So when you say you're not going to let my hands go, I know you're not going to do that. When you say that you love me unconditional and you'll never leave me and you'll never forsake me and you'll never, 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 I believe that because you've proved it time and time again. In my life, you've proved it. So I don't have no reason to doubt. And even when those doubts do come, what did that father say? I believe, but forgive me for my unbelief. We have those unbelief times. We have those times when we fail, when he says, I got you, and the doubt comes in and it talks louder than what he said. But at the same time, we can still lay that back down and be like, Lord, I'm sorry for doubting you. I know that I know that I know that you can do this because you did it before. And you're the same yesterday, tomorrow, and forever, right? Be aware that he's always there. Be aware that he is always there. The one who never leaves you is the same one who never changes. You know what? That gives me hope no matter what. It gives me hope in knowing that he's the same. So if he did it before, he can do it again. If he did it for Moses back in that day, he can do it for me. If he did it for the disciples, he can do it for me. You know, we're disciples. The same power he gave them, we have. But have we tapped into it? Have we asked for the things that we didn't think we had? Lord, show me. Show me the real me, the me that you created. Not the me that I created, not this monster, but show me the true me. And watch and see how he starts unraveling things one little by little. As you release more and more things into my care, remember that I never let go of your hand. Herein lies your security. You have an assurance. You can bank on that. He ain't going to let you go. He said, no one or no circumstance can take your hand from me. Amen goes there. Amen goes there. So do you believe what he says or do you believe the lies? That's your choice. But your outcome is going to be a result of that choice that you made, right? And that's what I have to share for this morning. Thank you for letting me share, sis.
Oh, Robbie.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry, not sorry, okay?
sorry. I don't know. I can speak for myself, but I know everyone else just loves your shares. I have all these questions that you're asking of me. I write them all down. I wrote in yesterday's and today's. What are you holding on to for dear life? That is a great question, Bobby. Good morning, Sister Mary. How are you?
Good morning.
You
As you
need
were
a
reading the devotional, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. As you were reading the devotional, yesterday was my birthday and I turned 52. And my kids were like always like telling me like the past couple of weeks, Mom, what do you want? What do you want to do? We'll take you to dinner. We'll do this. And I told my older son, look, because I said, you're in charge. I said, you and, him and my husband, I said, you figure it out with Mike. I said, but I just want to be with you guys. I don't want to be in a fancy restaurant. I want my grandkids to smile, want them to enjoy themselves. I don't want to have to, you guys to have to be telling them to sit down, to do this. Like, they're babies. They don't understand we're in a fancy restaurant. And he goes, okay. I said, just come to the house. We'll barbecue. We'll do something simple. And I just want to be with you guys. That's it. I have everything I want. I could go buy what I want if I want to get it. I think spending time with family is more important than material things. And I'm like learning that as I get older. And lately I've been having like health issues with my diabetes, my sugar being very high. And I've never dealt with that. So I'm trying to control that and, give it to God. Um, and when you read that this morning, I was like, I give everything to God, but when it comes to my kids, it's it's really hard for me to give my problems with my kids to God. I'm learning to trust him. I'm learning to not stress over it and just give it to him. Um my two youngest ones, the 13-year-old and the 24-year-old, they're testing my boundaries, but they're not bad kids, but they're just doing normal things. But I really need to learn how to just really, like I do with my clients. I could walk away. I'm like, okay, you don't want to pay your rent? Go live underneath the tree. That's what you want to do with your 5 kids? That's up to you. But it's hard for me to do it to my kids. And I know I need to do it because I was telling my kids yesterday, I'm halfway to heaven. I'm almost there. I'm 52 years old. This is the reality. There's going to be a day I'm not going to be here. You guys are going to be on this table by yourself, celebrating, my life. And they all stare at me because lately I've been talking about that a lot, about not being here. And that's part of my grief, is dealing with, I think, losing my brother 3 years ago at the age of 52. It kind of hit me like life is too short, but anything could happen from one day to another. One day you're talking, the next day you're gone. And I'm talking to my kids about that because I don't know if it's weird, but I'm trying to prepare them, because I was never prepared, and the grief has been very, very hard, to be without him, just thinking like this is not the way life's supposed to be. And so lately I've been doing that. My husband's like, why do you keep on talking about it? I said, because this is the way this is my outlet. Like, I need you guys to know what my wishes are. I want you guys to be good. And I feel like it's helping me. And that's what I got out of it this morning. It's just like, I have to give him more to God. I have to trust him. I need to, oh my God, there's this couple right here. They're doing something with a needle, like on the side of the road.
Oh, goodness.
Give it to God. Give it to God.
Ready for that.
They're doing that. Oh God. And so, I just need to learn to give it to God, trust God. And when I have problems, my daughter's 23, she's struggling with her grief, that my brother was her Nino, my brother was like her dad. I can't take that pain away from her.
and drinking is not going to help it. She started drinking, and as much as I tried to tell her, this is not how you deal with grief, she just tells me I don't understand, that I don't love her because I don't understand. And I don't know, because I've never been a drinker, so I don't even know how. I can't understand her. How I deal with anger or anxiety or whatever, I start scrubbing the walls. That's that's what I do. I start cleaning, and I've never dealt with like that. So it's really, really hard for me to see her doing that. She don't do it all the time, but when she does it, it just breaks me. And she did it 2 weeks ago, and I, instead of arguing with her, I just started praying while it was happening. And I just started praying, and I started talking to my brother. I'm like, you need to get your goddaughter, because I don't want the old me to come out. I'm going to knock her out. I'm going to knock her out. And, I work hard to be who I am today, and not have that type of anger. And the next day, it was a very hard conversation, but I just told her, like, you're an adult. If you can't follow my rules, I can't be going through this stress, that you're not giving your little brother a good example. You can leave. Like, I don't have to take care of you anymore. You could just get out of my house. It was the hardest thing to say. I was even shaking. But I had to say it, because I need peace in my home. Regardless if she's hurting, I need peace in my home. And if I can't help her, I can't enable her either. So that's where I'm at, and I just need to just give it to God and just continue to pray and rely on Him. Just walk away, like let them figure it out. She's gonna be 24 years old, so she needs to figure it out. She needs to know that alcohol is not the way to resolve any problems or to like deal with her hurt. It's just gonna put her in a different situation, and that's my fear. But I have to stop fearing what God has planned and just give it to Him, and He'll take care of her. And if she has to go through what she has to go through, that's God's plan, right? I can't question it. I just can't question God anymore. I just have to just let it go. And that's what I got out of it this morning.
Thank you, Sister Mary. I can relate to the drinking part. When my mom passed, I was drowning myself in alcohol. That was my way of dealing with my mom's passing. My mom passed, and then I got diagnosed with cancer, and it was just like a lot of things on top of a lot of things. And that was my outlet, was to drink. I didn't go out drinking. I stayed home and I drank, because I've always been afraid of getting a DUI, getting arrested. I've never been in jail. So there was a couple of times where I decided, okay, you know what, my daughter wanted to go somewhere. Oh no. Saying we're restricted. Why? And I drove my daughter somewhere, and I was like, no, I can't be doing this. And it was one day I just decided that, I was killing myself more than making myself feel better. But yeah, she just, will have to realize that drinking's not the way. And I'm sorry you have to deal with that, Mary. I really am. This morning, like, there's so many things, so many questions that Sister Robbie was asking. I wrote them all down as best I could. But this morning's devotion is good. I've learned to let so many things in my life go. I've learned to let people go. I've learned to let family go, because I needed my life. I needed to live my life and be peaceful and live and do what I'm doing now and living for the Lord. That is what is most important to me. And just giving it all to Him. I've learned to do that. I've learned to give my kids are my most prized possession. And, like Sister Robbie said, we will fight for our kids, and having to allow my children to live their life and be able to sit back and watch them live their best lives is like the greatest reward. I have 3 sons, 1 daughter, and just to be able to sit back and watch them live life every single day, one of them or all of them have communication with me. I woke up to a text from my youngest son this morning telling me he was on his way to the airport. He loved me and he'd call me as soon as he could. Those are the things I look forward to every day, is knowing that my kids are okay and that they always come to me when they need something. And I've tried to teach them to go to the Lord. Don't ask mom to pray for you anymore, which I do for them every single day. But I've also tried to direct them in their way to the Lord. Pray for yourselves. Talk to God. The way I do, I just have conversation. We know that I'm not the greatest prayer, but I have my own conversations, and I pray for my kids every day. And I've directed them that way, have that conversation with the Lord and ask for the things that you need in your life. I don't know what you need. I don't know what's in your heart. I don't know what's in your thoughts. But, it's so amazing that the changes that the Lord has made in me, and I am able to no longer worry. I can concern myself with things. I think it sounds so much nicer when I use the word concern than worry. But I've given it all to God. God has carried me through this past year and a half, which has been the heaviest in my life. Having to depend on others to help take care of myself. And I truly believe that that is what has taken up a lot in my mind, is knowing that the Lord has put me in a place of stillness. He has humbled me to the core, like I am the most humble I've ever been in my life. And God has absolutely sat me down and told me to stay still. Losing the access, part of the access to my right hand. And that has put me in a place where I just, losing mobility in everyday things has really taken its toll on me. But I do the best I can, and that's all I can do. That's all God tells me to do, is do the best you can. And He's handling the rest. And I know that everything, I'm sorry, I didn't want to start crying. We know I'm the crybaby of this group, but I'm just doing the best I can. And I'm doing what I can to be good to myself and be good to others and share the love of the Lord to others. And that's all I can do. I thank you all for being here this morning and sharing. Is there anyone else who'd like to come up and share before we close out for the morning?